Hello teacher, today I would like to present the performance analysis of our social media campaign on Twitter and Facebook. In this presentation, I will first analyze the performance of each platform based on the pivot tables and charts. Then I will compare the two platforms and conclude with several recommendations. Let's first begin with Twitter. First, let's look at the chart. The chart gives us an overview of Twitter performance across four different content: acquisitions, CSR, news, and retentions. From the chart, we can immediately see that the retention is the best performance because it has the tallest spot in both impressions and engagements. Then look at the pivot table above. We can clearly verify the results. Retention generates 624 tweets with 3,887,614 impressions and 67,948 engagements that you can see here, which are the highest values among all times. Acquisitions and CSR performance quite similar, each receiving around 3.6 million impressions and approximately from 61 to 63,000 engagements. Meanwhile, new records the lowest impressions at 3.42 million and the lowest engagement at 54 and 904 here. This suggests that customer retention content attracts much stronger attentions and interactions than news-related content. Therefore, retention should remain a key focus in future Twitter marketing campaigns. Next, let's examine Twitter performance over time. The line chart clearly shows an upward trend from 2019 Q1 to 2020 Q2. Pod impressions and engagements increased steadily before reaching their peak in 2020 Q2. According to the above Bible table, impression increased from 1.77 million in 2019 Q1 to 3.14 million in 2020 Q2. Engagements also rose significantly from 25,700 to 78,889. This indicates that Twitter campaigns become increasingly effective over time. However, in 2020 Q3, performance declined sharply. The pivot table showed that only 106 tweets were published during the quarter, leading to substantial decrease in impressions. Engagement, therefore, the lowest performance was mainly caused by reduced posting activity. Now let's move on to Facebook. Similar to Twitter, this chart compares four content terms against retention stand out as the strongest performance term. Based on the pivot, retention generate 1,002,060 and 527 impressions and 86,683 engaged users, the highest among all time. Another interesting findings in the engagement rate. Although news and CSR reach fewer users than retentions, they achieve engagement rates of approximately 7.3%, which are the highest Facebook. In contrast, acquisitions recorded the lowest engagement rate at only 2.4%. This means Facebook users are more likely to interact with CSR and new content when they see it, while retentions remain the strongest overall term because it combines high reach with high engagement. Now moving to the Facebook performance by quarter. Look at the chart. Illustrate Facebook's performance over different quarters. Similar to Twitter, Facebook's reached its highest performance during 2020 Q2. The pivot tables show that Facebook published 300 and 301 posts in 2020 Q2, far more than any other quarter. As a result, total reach increased to 1.52 million, the highest values in the dataset, which you can see here in the simulate time. In 2020 Q1, although only 19.5 posts were published, Facebook generates over 80,000 engaged users here, indicating very high interaction quality. Over Facebook experienced rapid growth during early 2020 before declining in 2020 Q3, most likely because posting quickly decreased. That you can see both information from the pivot and the chart. Besides the content terms, Facebook also allows us to analyze different post types. Based on the pivot, photo posts dominate the platform, with 618 out of 725 posts, generating 2.36 million reach and over 97,000 engaged users. Video ranked second with 68 posts, producing nearly 500,000 reach and almost 30,000 engaged users. This suggests that visual content, especially photo, remain the most effective format on Facebook. Videos also perform well and should be used more frequently to increase engagement. Now, moving to have an overview between Twitter and Facebook, we got the comparison of these elements. First, looking at the table, Facebook achieved a much higher engagement rate across every content term. For example, acquisition Facebook's 6.43%, Twitter got 1.30%, and about the retentions, Facebook got 7.2% and Twitter is 1.47%. This indicates that Facebook users interact more actively with content after seeing it. However, Twitter generates much higher total engagements. Here, Twitter have 62,999 engagement, and Facebook's users have 40,000 and 40,000 and 40,645 engaged users. The same pattern appears across CSR, news, and retentions. Twitter benefits from much larger audience reach, producing higher total engagement despite lower engagement rates. And finally, based on the comparisons, another important finding is that both platforms identified retentions at the strongest performance terms. That you can see here. This consistency suggests that customer relationship content is highly valued regardless of platform. Now, moving to the last part, conclusions and recommendations. Based on our analysis, we recommend our actions. First, continue investing in retention content because it's consistently perform best. Second, increase photo and video content on Facebook to maximize engagement. Third, use Twitter mainly for increasing brand awareness and reaching larger audience. And finally, using Facebook to strengthen customer relationships and build long-term community engagement. About the conclusions, Twitter and Facebook have different strengths. Twitter performs better in terms of visibility and audience reach. Facebook performs better in terms of engagement quality. Across both platforms, retention is the most successful content. With, with 2020, Q2 is the strongest performing quarter. Therefore, an effective social media strategy should combine Twitter's wide reach with Facebook's high engagement to, to achieve the best marketing performance. So that's all about my presentation. Thank you for your attention.